They said no one ever made it past door 30, but last Halloween my friend and I tried. We thought it was just another haunted house. Until we realized the last door wasn't part of the attraction. It was something else, and one of us never came back. Last Halloween, my town was obsessed with a new haunted house attraction that had just opened off Route 17. It called itself the 31st Door, advertising 31 rooms of fear, one for every night of October. The flyers were everywhere. On power poles, store windows, even slipped under car wipers. The marketing was bold. No one makes it past door 30. At first, I thought it was just hype. But what really got people talking was that the owners didn't advertise who they were. The location used to be an abandoned furniture outlet, and overnight it turned into a dark, glowing maze of flickering lights and screams that you could hear from the parking lot. By the time Halloween night came around, the line stretched all the way down the block. Everyone wanted to be the first to reach that mysterious final door. Entering the 31 doors, I went with my best friend, Trevor. We were both horror junkies, the kind who laughed through jump scares. The line outside was chaos. Costumed teens, couples clinging to each other, fog machines filling the cold air. A woman in black walked down the line handing out waivers. "You'll need to sign these," she said, her voice completely flat. It was one page of fine print about psychological distress and risk of injury. Nothing unusual for haunted attractions, but there was one weird clause. Participants agree not to discuss what lies beyond door 30. Trevor thought it was a marketing gimmick. We both signed without thinking. When we finally reached the entrance, a staff member wearing an old porcelain mask simply said, "No phones, no filming. If you make it to the 31st door, you'll understand." Then they took our phones and dropped them into sealed black pouches. The first few rooms were impressive, high-budget horror, elaborate sets, motion sensors that triggered screams and shadows. But as we kept going, the rooms got darker, emptier, less like themed scares and more like someone's actual nightmare. The descent begins by the time we reached door 20. We hadn't seen another group for at least 15 minutes. The path twisted downward into a basement level that smelled like wet concrete and metal. The air felt heavier, humid, like we'd left the attraction and stepped into something older. I started noticing little details that didn't feel like part of the show. The hum of real electrical wires, faint dripping water, a smell that reminded me of rusted pipes. Room 21 had no actors, just a single chair under a light bulb swinging from the ceiling. As soon as the door shut, the bulb flickered, and I swear I heard whispering behind me. A voice so close I felt its breath. Trevor joked that maybe they used hidden speakers. But when we entered room 25, he stopped laughing. Inside was a hallway lined with doors on both sides, each numbered 25 again and again. When we opened one, it led right back to where we started. After trying 5 or 6, Trevor started to panic. I knocked on one of the walls. It sounded hollow, but something on the other side knocked back. 3 slow, deliberate taps. The warning. We finally found a real exit door labeled 26, but the handle was ice cold. On the other side was a small room with a TV playing static. As soon as we stepped in, the screen changed, showing live footage of us standing there. Confused. The camera angle was from above, like a security feed. Then text began appearing across the static. "Stop at door 30. Trevor thought someone was messing with us. But I felt sick. I wanted to turn around, but the door behind us had vanished. Literally gone, replaced by solid wall. The only way forward was another numbered door. Each one we passed looked older, as if it had been there long before the building existed. By door 28, I started to hear footsteps that didn't match ours. They followed at a steady pace, always just behind, stopping when we stopped. At one point, I turned my head and saw a shadow standing perfectly still at the end of the corridor. No mask, no costume, just a tall, thin figure with its face completely blacked out, like the darkness itself was clinging to it. Door 30, we reached door 30 around midnight. It looked different, carved wood, ancient looking, with a symbol burned into the center. A spiral with 3 vertical slashes through it. The sound behind us stopped. No footsteps, no breathing. Trevor reached for the handle, but I grabbed his wrist. It said stop here, I whispered. He laughed nervously. It's just part of the act, man. He opened it. Inside was a pitch-black room. No lights, no props. We stepped forward carefully, and the door slammed shut behind us. Then, faintly, a dull red glow appeared from somewhere above. It wasn't a room, it was a staircase spiraling downward. As we descended, I noticed the walls were covered in scratch marks, hundreds of them, all clawing upward, toward the light we'd come from. Halfway down, Trevor said he heard someone calling his name. When I looked, he was staring into a doorway that hadn't been there before. A dark slit in the wall labeled, crudely, 31. The 31st door. He stepped toward it before I could stop him. The moment he crossed the threshold, the light vanished. I screamed his name, but all I could hear was whispering. Dozens of voices whispering in unison. One stays, one leaves. Something cold brushed my shoulder, and I bolted back up the stairs. The door to room 30 was open again, but when I came through, I was alone. The rooms behind me were gone. Instead, I found myself standing in the same lobby we'd entered from, with the masked attendant silently holding out my sealed phone. I tore it open, shaking. My timer app said we'd only been inside for 12 minutes. I tried calling Trevor, but his number went straight to a disconnected tone. His car was still parked outside. I waited until dawn, but he never came out. Police searched the building the next day. They found nothing beyond 30 rooms, no stairs, no 31st door. The owner's paperwork was fake. The attraction was shut down immediately. That was a year ago, and last night, a new flyer appeared on my windshield. Same logo, same spiral mark, same slogan. 31 rooms of fear, only the brave reach the last door. But this time, it wasn't promoting a haunted house in my town. It had my street address on it. That was a year ago, and no one ever found Trevor. The building was torn down, the company vanished, like it was never there at all. But last night, someone slipped another flyer under my door. Same spiral logo, same promise, 31 rooms of fear. Only this time, it listed my home address. If anyone ever invites you to the 31st door, don't open it.